Right, so in this valley, we'll be going here. We'll stay in the valley. You can see it's fairly wide. You don't cross any topo lines. This will be along a stream. From here again, here you can see that actually you'll be going up. So this is basically upstream. You'll be following upstream and another stream. So here we'll be climbing upstream along a stream again to have drinkable water on the way. And then once we reach again the top of the mountains here, I'm gonna take them, so let me just take a look. So I mean, a little bit from experience, I know that this is fairly kind of walking on top of the mountain, no big deal here. You can see the topo lines are very widely spaced, so this is nearly flat, just a few ups and downs. So this is going to go fairly quickly, these 5 kilometers. Here then, to get into this valley, as you can see, it's going to be fairly steep, so this small stretch can take the same time to cross than the previous 5 kilometers. So when you navigate, I mean, in the hills, you will never talk about distance, you will always talk about time actually, because in some places it will take a lot more time to cover like 1/10 of the distance. So once we get in here, I think we will actually be able to kind of set up like the first night campsite on this location. So we'll just plan for this place to be like a first campsite. And this will be a nice location. I'll show you why in a second. And then here, this again is going to go fairly fast because we walk almost flat along the valley. This again might take a few hours to actually get over this hill. Then we can probably get into this side stream towards the next valley. So that is definitely going to take at least 3 hours to get 20-30 people. Here again it will go a little bit quickly. And I think here somewhere we'll probably have to set up a second night campsite, given that the group size is fairly large, 40 people. So from here then, a little bit up here, from here then we'll have to climb up. And from here the plan could be basically to reach again to a next valley. And so this will be then the third valley. So here again you can see some various side branches of streams coming together, and there will be a river basically flowing here that will be exiting. Voila, here it is. That will be exiting there. So here is basically our exit point on the third day. So I mean, this might sound a little bit of Chinese to you, but I mean, once you do a couple of treks, you will kind of start estimating what you can cover, depending on the size of the group and the people in the group in a day. So now let's basically start drawing our trail a little. We have these basic main markers, right, that show us like how we are going to walk Talakona, walk over the hills, get inside the side stream, join the main stream, walk along the stream, get over this mountain to get into the other valley, then follow this valley. Here the stream will start going up. So here again we have to go on top of the hills slightly. We'll zoom in at a much higher level there to clearly show you the details, because I need to draw it very detailed, right? This is 500 meters, so I cannot make mistakes of 100 meter left or right, because then we'll be in trouble. So we'll need to carefully plan within an accuracy of a couple of tens of meters. So from here again we'll be climbing up to get into the next valley, and from here basically the stream will then exit to that side. Then probably in Orampadu we are going to be on this state highway where we can jump onto a lorry that will get us back into Tirupati. So okay, so this distance is a little more on the third day, but except for this one climb, it's going to be a fairly flat walk. Okay, so now let's start with drawing a more detailed trail. So I'm going to use this line marker here, and I'm going to put the first kind of rough trail draft. After that we'll switch to satellite view to kind of make a more detailed trail. So here it's a bit unfortunate, and Google has put like a big blob on top of this to indicate this Talakona Falls. So here I'm just going to assume that we're, so I'm using now the line tool, which will allow me to kind of draw lines. So I'm gonna kind of walk over these mountains here. Obviously I'm gonna not walk like this, right, because I'm straightly walking over a peak here and going down again, which is meaningless. That's a waste of waste of energy, especially because you're walking on top of the mountains here, so you're going to walk in the bare sun, right? Talakona is 5-6 hours from Chennai, so by the time, even if we start 4-3 a.m. in the morning, you're only going to reach this place by 10 or 11 a.m. So that means you're going to have already a very hot mid-morning sun on top of you, so dehydration will be more. One more thing is that on these higher areas here, 900,000 meters, I mean, you're far away from the valley, so that means there will be absolutely no drinkable water. So keep that in mind. So it will be very important that we refill the water bottles in the Talakona Falls. Once we leave Talakona, there won't be any water. We'll be basically walking over the hills. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to avoid this mountain. I could actually walk around this to the right side or walk around to the left side. I'm just going to do a lucky guess. I'm going to walk in between these two mountains. So here I see the lines are going up, here going up a little. So I'm basically going to walk a little bit here. And here, I mean, if you actually carefully look at the shape of these lines, you can already see that some river is starting here. So you can see that they are actually bending, kind of curving inside. So this is actually where the water is already collecting from all these hills into this kind of gap towards to be flooding towards there. So okay, so this here again, it's going to be a bit tricky, but I mean, I'm familiar with this place. There will be a way down here. Also be aware that although this is fairly detailed, you're still looking at a fairly high scale here of a half a kilometer, right? So that means that the actual steepness, I mean, like the small scale details of the terrain, you're not going to see here. So this could be impossible or this could be possible, but looking at this kind of scale won't always be able, I mean, you won't be able to tell always what exactly is awaiting you. Only when you go there and look, assess the terrain, you will be able to see. Okay. Yeah, so we can look at some alternatives. So let me just draw this as a first example. So here I'm basically, here you can see a little bit ups and downs, which is a bit weird. I mean, this is basically where the stream is so narrow that even Google is not able to figure out actually what's going on here, but it's actually a nice valley which will straightly get you into this main valley. So here I'm just gonna cut my line and consider this as part 1. So this is the way to the main valley. Yeah, you were saying alternative? Yeah, I mean, we could keep walking here. Indeed, we could be walking on top of the hill. So yeah, so that's why I'm saying, right, you can go on top of the hills. Yeah. Yeah, and then here possibly, yeah, that's a possibility, correct. That would be
100 meters down.
Yeah. Yeah. So this indeed, so what we'll do is once we draw like a first rough draft, we can start planning for some alternatives, because there is definitely some 50% possibility here that here we'll be completely stuck on like some vertical drops, right? And then in that case it's always good to have an alternative. So possibly indeed, if you follow this again, here you can see like you have a little more distance between the topo lines, so this could be like a decent slope actually. The reason why I'm going here is actually here are some interesting places where we have gone earlier, and this will actually get us quicker into the side stream where there will be drinkable water. Okay, so we're still okay with the time? Yeah. So then let me start with a new line. It's always best to cut a little bit in sublines, otherwise it becomes a bit slow. So here you can see a little weird stuff. So there's actually a bit, I mean, the river here is actually so narrow that even Google cannot actually sense that there is actually a straight cut here. You don't really have to go up till 700 meters and then again go down. There's actually there is a cut here that will allow you to kind of keep walking nicely at the bottom of the valley along the stream. So I'll show you once we are done in satellite view. So here the plan is to go here, and then I'm gonna take the team actually to this side stream, because here at the end is actually one of the highest falls we have ever discovered. So let's call this the main valley number 1. So here, now about 10 minutes. So here there will be a very interesting point, the 200-meter falls. So once we're done with the trail, by the way, I'm going to show you some photos. So then you'll see the photo, the visual, and kind of try to understand how that could fit into this map.